We've been waiting this week for the Church of England to publish guidance on restarting public worship, and the guidance went online last night at just before 9 o'clock. I was able to have a read through, and I was encouraged that there's very little in there that I hadn't anticipated and that we haven't already begun to plan for. I will read through the guidance again more carefully today, and I know others will too in the church. Having said there's nothing we hadn't anticipated, I do have to say that when we get back to church at 10:30 on Sunday morning, things will feel very different. Yes, we'll have to sanitize our hands when we arrive and when we leave, and you will be asked not to hand back your order of service, to take it home with you or to put it in the recycling bin in the church. But the biggest thing is going to be social distancing, and in church, as everywhere else, the general rule is that we should aim to be 2 meters apart from anyone who's not in our household, and that really will require all of us staying alert and attentive at all times to the people who are around us, and particularly when we move around a building, when we come up for communion and when we arrive and when we leave. And I do want you to think about a few things before we get to Sunday. One of them is whether it might be appropriate to wear a face covering. That will mitigate against always needing to be 2 meters from people. It would allow us to be 1 meter plus. And it might enable more people to actually get into the church for the service. We're intending to allow people to sit only in alternate rows, and each of the longest pews in church is only 4 meters long, and by my reckoning that means you could have people at either ends and possibly one person in the middle, but that could be just 3 people in one of those very long pews, and the shorter pews would be only 2 people. So a quick estimate yesterday of the number of people we could safely accommodate at 2 meters in the church is about 45. In the main part of the nave, we could go over into the next 2 columns of pews in front of St George's and in front of St Thomas's Chapel. But we will be very spread out, and that's going to feel very strange, I think. But as I say, with face coverings we might be able to sit a bit closer together and still be safe. So do think about that. The other thing, which is a very hard thing to have to say, is that the advice is that if you're in any vulnerable group, whether that's those who have some health condition that makes you clinically vulnerable, or if you are over 70, then the advice is that you should not take part in worship. In the end, it's your decision and you have to assess what you believe the risk is to yourself, but I can only advise you not to come. And that's a hard thing to say, because of course I want to be able to say we want everyone to come to church. It would be lovely to see the place bursting with all the people that we haven't seen for months and who haven't seen each other for months. But it may be that discretion is the better part of valour, and you may want to just wait a week or two until things are settled down and we know exactly how it's going to be. That said, there will be a service at 10:30 this Sunday, and if you feel it's right for you, please come. God bless.